Welcome to the Patricia Joe Grover Show, where we turn believers into achievers. And today, my guest is Balaka Ghosal. And let me tell you something a little bit about Balaka. She is an environmental writer, living a simple, low waste life, poised on faith and empathy. She helps people find fulfillment by lowering their water and carbon footprints to build a safer future for children. For businesses, Balaka helps to strategize their role in shaping a circular economy to ensure long-term profits. This needs a good bit of caring, courage, and conviction. Her website, https thegreenwriter.com, she has gifts there for you. The Green Chi-Chi's 10 steps to creating your eco-friendly legacy of future well-being. The world needs everybody to create a legacy of well-being for our children. It's our responsibility together. Let's get some good and have some harmony and respect. So thank you for the show, Balaka.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me here. So happy for that. And good to see you again,
Yes,
Patty.
yes. You were a guest before, and just the stuff that you shared, um, it was so positive, and the differences that people can make, even if they're the smallest of difference, make it. It all adds up. So it's
Right,
for us
right.
all to take responsibility for our carbon footprint.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
And it's for the greater good. So it becomes very meaningful and every little bit counts. So yes.
Exactly. So, as always, I have some questions. So I'm curious to get some of
Sure.
this stuff here. So, environment and eco-friendly sounds cool and calming, to all, but it takes a lot of benevolence and peace to base one's business on that ideal. It's really tricky. So, how's the business side of it? And as you help them, how's your role as the copywriter?
Yeah, well, it's a good question. And, the truth, as you may have guessed it from this question, it's not so cool, not as cool as it seems. It's just like any other business and some more, because it's kind of nerve-wracking for some of the business. It's like we call it the flies trying to stop a locomotive that's coming at breakneck speed, and we're trying, with the voice of reason, like in Horton Hears a Who. Remember in
Right.
Dr. Seuss's book, like only the elephant could hear the Whoville people on the dandelion pollen, and the others were not ready to listen. So I would say that trying to create, having the vision, or first understanding that the way our production system is, we make things from resources, then we use it, and then we throw it. And over time, the usage period has become very narrow. Earlier, it was like, okay, since your grandparents' time, you have so many things in the heirloom in the family, but now it's like single use, or even if it's not single use, it's very transient phase, and you're into new things. So with that consumerism, bringing in something durable or making things from waste just as cool as the conventional items, it's a challenge. And then as a copywriter, my role comes in that they are so busy into making the product, having that vision, and with grit, like there is all the negativity or doing something different, so different, it's like swimming against the current. The price is more your
Right.
product because it's different. So all of that, there is a gloom and hopelessness, and they forget to use all the online tools for visibility.
Oh, okay.
Like sometimes it's a cool product, I go to the website and said, wow, they don't have an opt-in, or they don't have a newsletter, mm, or their blog is just written, like 7 months ago, and the Facebook page hasn't been updated in 4 months. That's when, like, hey, you need help because you are so busy in doing that different thing that needs to be done. So why don't you do that well, what you do, and let me take care of the words and the publicity part of it, you know. So that's kind of my job. And in my personal life, I of course live, close to zero waste, far from perfect, but I try to share and teach and kind of spread that vibe with others who are willing to take in, and even I'm learning from them, you know.
Fantastic. Yeah. Well, again, it is very interesting. So, what has been the biggest challenge in the green business, and where do you fit in to help them? So you kind of shared a little bit with us about that, but I know there's so much more to it.
Right. There are basically two challenges. One, as I said, is the visibility is not there. Like my reading glasses, they're made from retrieved carbon in the atmosphere. So there's a machine, or there are, different ways of getting that. So the pollution is becoming less, and with that, they harden it. They make it, this is almost competitively priced, but when I go to their website also, I don't see, like, it was right in front of me in Whole Foods one day, and I got curious with that unbleached paper background, and I started reading. I was like, wow, I need to buy this. But otherwise, there is no way people would know that it exists,
Right.
because there are different colors and different styles. So I'm sure those who would need reading glasses would be okay to buy something at a competitive price, but they don't know. But there are people, consumers, who are in the conventional path also, would like to make a change, would like to do some good. There are so many people wanting to do good, and they don't know. So that's one. The second problem is in the language. So when I go to LinkedIn, I see those green businesses using corporate speak. So that kind of looks impressive to their competitors. Like, just because I broke away from your way of operating doesn't mean I'm uncool.
Right.
So all those industrial acronyms and everything, but the same company doesn't have the consumer language, the you and me kind of language. So the consumer just doesn't know they exist. So what
Right.
kind of a business plan is it that you are only drumming maybe word of mouth with a slim market? Maybe 500 people are interested in a yoga mat made out of recycled wetsuits, of
Right.
ocean surfers. So it's more expensive because there are very few buyers. If you increase the consumers, in a number of consumers opting for it, or if you network with other businesses that, hey, you are running a, let's say, a green, ultimately green gym. So those who are members there will get a discount for this, and the other way around. So you're partnering in that way to promote common consumerism habits, that one leads them to become a consumer for the other products related in that field.
Yes.
That would really help. So these are ideas. I do marketing consulting, and also how to take their business habits also towards a greener path, and changing the language, that you may have something for the corporate partners,
Right.
but please do have a people's outreach wing where you are slowly educating without the preaching, teach,
Right.
don't preach. So mm, that's a tricky thing, how to advertise while you're educating. And you don't
Mm-hmm.
want to use fear all the time, that world is going to end, or you're going to get cancer if you do this. No,
Right.
fear is a short-term motivator. Otherwise, to see good value in the content, you need a different kind of play way method of getting into their hearts.
Right. And ultimately, showing the positive result that it is going to give
Right.
everyone.
Right. So related to that, why corporate is bad, geek speak. I call it, full of jargons. It's bad. I mean, it's aligning with that traditional method of dig, make, use, throw. Nature doesn't have any trash as such,
Right.
it's only we humans have created trash that doesn't go back to nature. But that corporate language was actually the way to make profit. So it's a status quo's language.
Hmm.
If we stick to it, it's hard to break away. And then all the greenwashing, all these big words, if you go to some big companies, I won't take the names, but we
Right.
are all time in the media using those platforms. If you go to their sustainability page, you will be impressed, like, wow. But if you read through the words, you will see it's more cosmetic play of words that impresses, but it doesn't really impact.
Well, because
uh,
they have the money to pay the staff to make it look good on the outside,
So we
and
have to
right.
break away from the corporate language because it's the language of the status quo, of the make more profit, let the world go. I'm
Right.
just looking at my lifetime of profit, not beyond. We have to break away, and we have to kind of pull the bowstring back and let the what's happening here.
Uh, I
Are we
I can hear you.
um
You're good. You're good. You're good.
so that's the thing, that take a look back, take stock, and aim for the bigger, longer goodness a few years down the road. It won't hurt us, honestly.
Right. Fantastic. That
Thank
and
you so
those are good things, good points.
much.
So,
Yeah.
for our first episode together, you spoke of a few mindset tips that you have you to override challenges. For example, you look
Hmm.
at fear as a friend or a helicopter mom. Sort of how it all connects to your greening journey as an environmental writer.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, I have a completely different take on fear. There's so much of talk in the media about, like, fear is the enemy, and to deal, you have to, like, yeah, like Julius Caesar. Fear knows Caesar is more dangerous than he. But at the same time, it's fear that has kind of kept us on track. Otherwise, the whole world will be anarchy, complete anarchy. If I knew there is no police, or if I knew I'll never get a speeding ticket, there would be so many people,
right,
breaking driving rules. So my thing is that fear, personal safety and well-being and all those things, or what will people say, so has kept us from doing many wrongs. Also, it has kept
right.
our life
There's a
more
balance, right?
predictable path. Yeah. But when we let fear kind of smother us, it's like the mom who's holding your hand, and she forgot to let go. She still thinks you are a 3-year old, whereas you're 23 now or 33, and you want to say, hey, mom, you know what? I'm big enough for you to now let go. And even when she does, you see your wrist is narrow, like the muscle didn't grow on your wrist because she had been holding all along. So I kind of talk to fear and say, no, thank you for being there for me. But while you sit and drink coffee, mom, let me, she's like a mom, overprotecting mom.
Yeah.
Let me play around and do my thing. Yeah, if I'm beginning to play with fire, get me by the collar and pull me back. But until then, let me play in front of you the way I would. And you have taught me good things. So I now have the voice inside me alerting me at different places. So I do listen to fear. If there is some trepidation, like, I say, okay, let me address it. What is it? Let me take the steps, safeguard beforehand, so as not to repeat the mistake or
Right.
do something too blatant that fear was alerting me for.
Hmm.
And a lot of fear comes from, what will people think of me? And I have not stood up and protested where I needed to be the voice of reason. That's because fear actually stifled me. That's the part I say, don't be overprotective, because ego is the ally. Ego is like, you can't do it, you're not good enough, and no one's going to listen to you. Is that, if I'm keeping my whole journey of environmental, remediation for the children in future who can live good lives and do more good. So for the goodness, I'm doing this. Why am I afraid of?
Right.
At most people will think, oh, Balaka is, oh, I don't like her. Oh, there she comes again, and she's going to. Okay, that's all right. There's no fine for that. People will, maybe I'll be less popular. So what? So I can kind of put God in the center of my life, that I'm serving his people, his things, his living things, this beautiful world that he created. I'm serving. So ego then becomes like, yeah, go ahead, you can do it, of course, yeah, have the courage, we're there for you, you know no one can mess with you, just come on, be there. So I kind of help use him as my ally. And you see, unknowingly I was using ego as a he,
Right,
masculine,
right. That's true.
fear as
That's true.
feminine. I don't know why,
Right.
no gender bias there, but just it's like the strength maybe, and fear being overprotective. I kind of used as dad and mom kind of thing, but that kind of helps me, keeps giving me the courage, even when I feel, how long do I have to do it? It's like no one gets it. And I stress and anger, criticism of other people, judgmental. And then I learned from my mentors that that's not healing me either while I'm trying to push forward. In
Right.
order to keep that next foot forward with faith, I have to not be judgmental, because I was there too, a plain, simple consumer, wanting to spend and bring beautiful things home and do, the splurging or whatever. So I have learned, and even now it's their time to learn from. Maybe I'll be an instrument in that process. That has helped me a lot to have a stress-free journey.
Hmm.
It's difficult, but I'm staying in there, persistent, consistent.
Right. Well, you have a passion for your purpose, and your purpose is to make a difference in the cleanliness of the environment for
Mhm.
the benefit of our youth and our future.
Yeah.
So there's, the more people that are like you, more so than not, then that's a benefit to us as a human society.
Right. That's a very powerful thing you said, Patty. But in 2020, you were asking, I think I didn't answer that all the way in the first question, that in 2020, what do I see? Well, all this jolt that the pandemic has given us, so many jobs lost, so many businesses just fizzled out, also made people, of course, through the anxiety, many had a lot of reflection.
Yes.
And also, many people had to live on less, not by choice, but
Mm-hmm.
by situation. Reality
Necessity,
forced
right.
them to just cut down. This is like extra, you can live without it. And then some of them have realized, oh, life is actually easier with fewer trips to the grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
And they get creative, they discover a lot of their inner strength of kind of what do you call it, improvising,
E- yes, and
refusing.
ingenuity.
Yeah.
You know,
So in one end, we're having the single-use plastics and for safety protocols, and PPE, of course, you have to wear. But at the other end, we're also having a lot of in like reflections that, yeah, maybe we should do something different.
right.
You were saying something. I didn't want
Well,
to
no,
kind of.
no. Well, necessity is the mother of invention. And
Mhm.
because people haven't been able to take as many trips to the store and buy as many things, they're having to have, ingenuity,
Yeah,
and really
yeah,
thinking about that. And I like to say that people are becoming more innovative. and
yes.
and that's a good thing, using their
Mhm.
curiosity and seeing what they can create. and
Yes.
and and that's what really wanted to bring out with you, because to reduce, reuse, and recycle, you just look. my husband picks on me, because I use little plastic containers. I'll reuse them for something else, even if it's a form of a craft to create a gift or
Yeah.
whatever like that. So
Mhm.
he puts it in the trash can, and I'll go grab it and wash it out to use it. But I came from when I was a child, my mother, we didn't have a lot of money. And my mother would reuse just about everything. Again,
Mm.
she was way worse than me about, that. But I'm not saying worse in a bad way. I'm just saying,
Well, good. She had that habit more ingrained. Yeah.
exactly, which wasn't a bad thing. Wasn't a bad thing.
Oh,
It did,
it's a good thing, yeah.
it saved a few cents here and there, but those few cents add up.
Mhm.
Those few
Great.
cents can add up to buy the baby a new pair of shoes. you
Mhm.
know with thinking of it that. So it's all in the mindsets and habits that we create.
Yeah.
you
And
know
also I look at it as relationship. Like we don't want to be just used once by a person as as a friend or a relative. You feel used. But like, oh, now it's done and they're done with me. Like I'm done with this person because I don't need her help anymore. You feel bad. But a long-term friendship or a relationship, it's so much more powerful.
hmm
Same thing, I feel like the items are talking to me like, are you done with me? Are you throwing me away? I don't want to go to a landfill. Can I stay here some more, please?
right. Right. Well, I had over this Christmas holiday, I had an epiphany. This is not something that I have time or really the interest in doing anything with, but maybe
Uh-huh.
you do or know someone. But I believe all Christmas wrapping paper should be editable. You should be able to eat it. So then it could feed uh, people. It could feed just
Mhm.
everybody if it was edible. You know how you have different things that you can eat. So that, because other than that, what happens? It all goes into the trash and goes into
Yeah, well, I reuse
landfills.
all my gift wrappings because the way I unwrap it,
See that
it's not very.
my grandfather did that. He was very, very particular. I mean, to have him unwrap a package, he'd have to cut the tape just right and make sure there was no stickiness, so when it folded up, it wouldn't mess with it and it would
Yes,
save.
I do
But
that all
right,
the time.
exactly. But then, nowadays it's rip ball, squish it up into a ball,
Yeah,
and it
because
goes
that's how
into
it's shown in media. Because the gift wrapping companies otherwise would be out of business. So in the way it's all created is like, hey, teach them that out of curiosity for the gift, you rip off the beautiful, beautiful paper, and then it's one time use, and then you're going for the thing inside the box, and the box gets thrown away also,
yeah,
and very soon we lose interest in what was in there as
yeah,
well.
that's so
So
true.
I always reuse even travel brochures or old maps. I use as gift wrappings,
hmm
or new kitchen towel, as a gift wrapping for a friend, for something for the kitchen. So yeah, many different ways. I think I have some Facebook videos on that. So yeah, it's like endless creativity, and now there are like zero waste minimalist groups on Facebook
hmm
for every city and also for the world. I'm member of my Houston group and also the world. Just amazing idea sharing, and I have some of my own videos on Facebook as well.
So,
So
and you're based, you're in Houston area?
yes,
Yes,
yes.
yeah. So, yeah. And I mean, that's a big city, and there's a lot of, stuff going on there. So even the impact that you could even make, and people, our viewers and listeners watching, the impact that you can make in your own community. Start in your
Yeah.
own household, and then,
Mhm.
spread to your family and friends, and have a mission
Mhm.
to whatever difference it is that you can make. Try
Exactly.
making that difference. And I know there's a lot of cities and towns, they have the recycling for, your cardboards and your papers
Yeah.
and
Recycling is actually the last thing that needs to be done after refusing, reducing, and reusing, because recycling also has a lot of carbon footprint. A truck has to come, pick it up from your place, deliver it, and then from that collection spot, it goes to its recycling place, maybe several hundred miles away. So a
right.
truck has to take it, or by ship across the world. So it's again a lot of gasoline and emission that we are breathing, and our children are breathing, and their blood-brain barrier is less. So, whatever they're going into their lungs and the blood is also reaching their brain cells. So not a very good picture there. So
Right.
best
So
is
starting right. So what? Give me the order and what is the best?
the first is refuse. Like, I don't use straw anymore when I drink. I don't have the disability. I know some people have, they cannot drink straight from a cup, so they need that. But since I don't have it, I don't need straws at all. And so that's an example. But so
Okay.
I take my water bottle, my coffee mug, wherever I go. I take my spoon wrapped in a nice thing inside my backpack. I need to show you one day what I do in my bag as well. It's very organized with all reusable stuff. So refusing is the best thing.
Okay.
Then that plastic, or the history of carbon emission didn't even reach you. Second is reduce, like buy in bulk, or you go to a store where you get bulk bins into your glass jars, or don't do certain buying that you could live without. It saves money too. So refuse, reduce, and then whatever you couldn't help. Let's say your family member loves cookies, and they bring the cookie box home. So you can't be mad at them for that, but you can teach them, hey, don't toss it in trash. I can, use it. So I have an example here, like my medicine jars, and I have to have some medicine. So this has my cloves, by my bed at night for my throat issues, allergy issues. And this one is a cookie box in which I have when I travel to other cities in my car, all my little bathroom supplies just goes in here, and it goes with me. It's not cute, but who is analyzing every bit of stuff that I have in my suitcase anyway?
Right.
So if I'm comfortable with that box, I'm not worried about having something fancy. So reuse is the best thing.
Right.
Like cardboard boxes, I told grocery store when I do a curbside pickup these days, I tell them, don't give everything in plastic bags, put them in a cardboard box, because they have so many to throw away, right?
Right.
So they bring me cardboard boxes, and I make layer my garden pots with leaf mulch from all the fall leaves. I'm now growing potatoes and garlic, all in cardboard boxes. So
Oh,
it's
okay.
not getting, I don't have to worry about having a truck to come and pick it up. I do have certain things that I couldn't reuse. There's only so much you can do, like your milk cartons. How many can you reuse? But my recycling is a very tiny thing, a
Right.
tiny box that goes out.
Yeah. Well, no, that's wonderful. Again, ideas and suggestions for everybody to look at what they do in their own home and with their own um
Yeah, and send us your
purchasing
thoughts,
process.
put them down here, because then we can learn some more. There is no end to learning, right?
Exactly, exactly. So I hope
Um,
that people are listening and do make the comments below because it really
yeah, and your
does make a difference.
grandparents' tricks.
Oh yeah, and I do, I egg cartons, I do different crafts
Yeah.
or different things like that with the grandchildren and there's
Jewelry box.
hmm
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So there are so many things for that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. And I have learned so much from the Great Depression era, that women did to save the last bit of money that they had.
mhm.
I'm learning from those, and also grandmother's era tips. I'm bringing them back in my life now. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. So Balaka, what is one big thing that you took
Mhm.
forward to achieving that you're looking forward to achieving in 2021?
Yeah, my writing mentor, she posted on Facebook in our group that I'm picking a word for myself that'll be the guiding word. and she chose discipline, and there's so many,
Right.
beautiful words that came in from everyone. Mine was introspection.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'm kind of looking inwards to see how I can bring my core message, not to market as a tagline. So I will see my success as my offering in ways like two books are almost ready for the last couple of months. There's so many hitches that they are going through. They'll soon be out on waste management and how to spruce up your online business storefront for green businesses. But besides that, there'll be a set of tiny books with stories weaved in, because I'm a storyteller, with stories weaved in that how can parents or as a family, with grown up children, and even as an individual or in a business, how I can tweak the voice and bring some realistic tiny goals, which is not like a should or you must do that or like a to-do list. That's stressful. I want to bring in stories in such a way that they would say, hey, I feel like doing it. I'm motivated to do it. Let's do it. So that energy will not bring stress with this changing. Any change is stressful, and we've already been through so much this
Right.
year. So I feel that how to ease out and learn from that and make it as add every one thing every week as you're comfortable. It becomes your habit, add the next one, or as an office culture. So it will be like either A to Z books, um, or 51 things you can do in your business for greening or in your family, whatever. They are just shaping up now. So that is my goal, to get them out into the world as energetic
Oh,
guidelines.
that's
Dream teaching.
fantastic. So who is your client? Who are you trying to get into those hands?
Yeah, it depends on the book. Like, let's say the business book, or like 51 things you can do for greening up your business. That'll of course go to small businesses, or I
Okay.
can even have for corporates, like how to have a zero waste event planning for your promotions, or how to have a zero waste expo, um, of things like that. But also for small businesses, it'll be catered to businesses.
Mhm.
But that same business person or the people who are building up the culture in the office can say, okay, there's a book that she has for family, or a single person can say, okay, for an individual, if you're alone, living alone, what are the things you can do to have a more impactful journey through this year? For families, parenting, or for children, I have different age group content where they don't have to wait for the parents to show get the things ready. They will know what to say in which situation, because people really listen carefully to what kids have to say. And if they can say nicely, because they are the policymakers of the future, they are the
That's true.
stakeholders also. So yeah, so about, I'm thinking 7 books for 7 different target audience. The same thing can have different stories and different voice, different language complexity. Because as a copywriter, that's my forte. I can write as per the voice of the people. So I'll be tweaking for
Oh,
who is reading.
fantastic. No, there's such a need for that too. And that's why I asked, because people maybe, have how they've made connection to you from being on my show a couple different times, that if they want that information, where they can get it. And they may say, hey, people, families need to hear about this and what they can do,
Yeah.
and children too. So that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Balaka, what is the one big message you have now for the world?
Oh, yeah. I do have something that'll surprise you, Patty, and everyone listening. Like, what? So that is that I want everyone. Oops, what happened?
Oh, we're
Did
good.
I? with my
No,
mouth open.
no, you're good. You're good.
Okay, so the message is um, to discover your power of slow. Um, it kind of sounds like a disturbance, but again, that's an aggressive word, which is becoming very popular. Everyone wants to be a disturbance. But I'll just say that we have always matched up, fast paced, rapid changes with growth. But I say slow and grow actually rhyme better, and slow looks like failure, but to me, ruthless speed can also be damaging, and it's causing so much of stress in the name of success. Even those who have enough are, are always kind of like, should I be satisfied with this? No, maybe I should have more hunger and more speed. And look, everyone is racing, and social media is such a place where everyone is, you know, just when I was starting my business, I was in four-figure income, and five figures was not even there. Success was always six figures. And six figures can be anything like 100,000 to 999
Right.
and 1,999, one short of seven figures. And I was like, okay, where should I be? So I found my shortcut, like count the two zeros after decimal. So my five figure can become seven figure. They didn't talk about the decimal where it should
Right.
be. So that's my crazy hack. But what I'm saying is that always the obsession with let's get going, let's knock it out of the way, let's get it done, kick laziness in the butt or ignore your guilt, project yourself. Those are words that is not the true calling for many of us.
Exactly.
And wisdom takes a little bit of time of introspection and just sometimes even to hear the inner guidance, the core driving vision within you, especially for green businesses. Slowing down and reflecting is good. And since we are visualizing that it was a linear economy of make, use, and throw, that's called the linear straight line economy, we are trying to change it into a donut shape where it's like circular. So the waste is again being recycled to become resource, and people are reusing things, or one company's scrap is becoming the raw material for another company.
Right.
So that's the circular economy. So I thought of curvature, like we do like straight highways and high speed, but hey, a curving path, we automatically have to slow down, put your brakes on with changing. And a curving path looks so beautiful. It's,
Mm-hmm.
I've always loved winding paths when when I'm traveling. It's slow,
Right.
but it's beautiful. I'm enjoying looking around, the cows grazing, the horses running in their fields, the farms. So I thought, hey, that's an analogy that slow down, ruminate, let the wisdom soak it down. And water is kind of my favorite. I'm also I created a water conservation outreach program for a company called, named EquiSmart. The company is Conserve Planet. And so EquiSmart, it's just being born. And water being so close to my heart, I thought that fast flowing water looks impressive, but it also scrapes the topsoil, it erodes, it damages.
Mm-hmm.
It's good. I'm not saying be stagnant water, but
Right.
a slow moving water, the gentle gargling sound
Can be
feeling.
right.
And it's a beautiful ecosystem thriving with many living aquatic
Right.
creatures. And the water, what's happening to the water? It's infiltrating through the layers of the soil, recharging groundwater. Because without groundwater, we'll be nowhere. We are fast depleting the groundwater. So I thought, hey, that's another analogy. Be the
Mm-hmm.
slow moving water. It still erodes. I mean, in a nice way,
Right.
it shapes the valley, and it creates the soil. It leaves the silt behind to create a new layer that grows our crop. And the turtle won the race, right? Not the hare. So,
There you go.
and
Exactly.
certain things, yeah, like we can't tell that, oh, I want to have, a baby in 2 weeks. I can't wait 9 months. You can't say that.
Right.
You can't tell the sun to rise quickly. Hey, I need to hurry up, rise fast. No, for certain things in nature, we have to be
Exactly.
patient. So, hey, if your business is taking time to grow, if you have enough for your bread, butter, roof, and clothing and medicine, I would say it's okay if you're persistent, consistent, dedicated in your service. So I think, Patty, you have an acronym for your business tagline, right?
Yes.
So I think for her podcast, or or this show, why not I come up with an acronym? So I said, okay, slow is service with like consistent service, and L is learning along the way. There is no finish line, so keep learning as you consistently and persistently help your customers or God, whatever you say, nature. And O is observing. When we're driving fast, we're so much on the wheel and the path, we don't watch the beauty. Once I was
Mm-hmm.
5 and in the Himalayas, we're doing an all-day trekking to reach a very high point. There's a temple and a little village where we would stay. We're walking all day, and all these urban people from big cities, we were huffing and puffing. I was 5, so I know I was like running along the way, but all the grown-ups were moaning and groaning, huffing and puffing, and looking at the watch and like, how long, how far is it? Oh my goodness. They would ask people coming down, how far is it? And they would just say, oh, it's just 10 minutes, no big deal. That's the way to say, so that they don't drop dead from shock, that it's
Yeah.
7 hours more.
Right.
So, oh, it's right here. And there would be little signs in many places that, hello, travelers, or dear travelers, please pause here
Yep.
and look around and enjoy this breathtaking, blissful beauty. I didn't read,
Mm-hmm.
but my mother,
Right.
um, she would then tell everybody, hey, look, if the sign wouldn't be here, we would still be like huffing and puffing. And why did we come here? Not for the trekking. We
Right.
don't have to clock it. We
Right.
don't have to race. Why don't we just enjoy? We came to
Enjoy the
enjoy the
journey.
beauty
Yes.
of the Himalayas. Why are we rushing through?
Mm-hmm.
So at every place where there is a panorama, now of course cars are zipping on that street, on that hill, or mountainous treacherous road. But back then it was 1971, and um, you had to walk morning till evening to get there. But they had to write that, please pause and
Yes.
admire the beauty, O traveler. It was written in
Mm-hmm.
very poetic ways. And then people say, oh, yeah, oh, it's so beautiful. Ah, let me sit on this piece of rock. Why didn't they sit before? You
Right.
know?
Right.
So I just think of that
Mm-hmm.
life is beautiful. Your green journey of your little eco-friendly business has its hardships, but beyond bread and butter and shelter, medicine, pause. You can have your profit coming in 3 years. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I would say. Discover your power of slow. Let the wisdom and everything crystallize, your vision, mission. And even in regular businesses, I would say pause to take a few green steps, imbibe, embrace, and profit can be smeared over time. It doesn't have to be crunched over a few months. You can spread thin and still enjoy it and build that legacy for your grandchildren to keep enjoying the beautiful world. Yeah.
Yes. And that is beautifully
Mm.
said, Balaka. And I'd like to add upon that. What
Uh-huh.
my wish for people for 2021
Uh-huh.
is to really think about and come up with your own definition of what success is to you in all
Mhm.
aspects of your life. What does success mean? What does it mean in your business life? What does it mean in your personal life with your health? You know, and what your
Yeah.
what it means to you and for you is different than it will be your neighbor or the next the other person down the
Yeah.
street, you know, whatever the case may be. But also, so not just success but wealth. It's
Mm-hmm.
not just financial wealth. You can have wealth in relationships, you
Yes.
know, and everything. So that's why I wanted just to add on to what you said is we
Mhm.
define what that is for you. And I hope our viewers and listeners are really soaking this in because it is important. And again, we're not in competition with anybody else. You know,
Yeah.
no, you aren't. You are
Mhm.
only in competition with yourself, and you need to stay
Yeah.
ahead of yourself for the benefits of being able to have and enjoy, you know, a purposeful, joyful, and happy
Mm-hmm.
life. You know, it it doesn't matter what makes everybody else happy if you're not making yourself happy and being there and showing up for yourself. You can't show up for anyone else.
Yeah, I mean, your microenvironment within your heart and the environment immediately around you needs to be perfectly, you know, in harmony. Only then you will be able to do a lot of good into the future. So you said it so beautifully that everybody's success, there is no six-figure mark or, you know, those labels that we have given and those markers along the way are actually misguiding and creating
Exactly.
a lot of stress. Like a flower, you know, Rabindranath Tagore, the first Nobel laureate of Asia, got for literature for spiritual poetry, he used to say that the river's success is in the flowing to meet the ocean. The
Yes.
flower success is in the blooming. So how we add value, our personas are different,
Hmm.
and we have to add value according to that, you know. Hmm.
Exactly. So, oh, this has been such a wonderful conversation, Balaka. So, going back now, do you have any special gifts for our viewers and listeners? I know before we had said that if they went to your website, you had
Hmm.
gifts for them. Is that the same thing? The green Chi-Chi's 10 steps to creating your
Yeah,
eco-friendly
I
legacy?
have the green steps there as well. The light is failing. You know, it's that regular time now. It's before anything, the light fades out. Yes, I think this is better. So just give me one moment. I'm so sorry.
There
Didn't
we
think
go.
of the light in natural light fading. I hope that's okay.
Yep. No, we're good.
So, mm, yeah, well, tell me your question again. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Oh no, with the gifts. So if we share your
Yes, again,
website again, that's where people
yeah,
can go to get your gift.
thegreenwriter.com,
Okay.
thegreenwriter.com, and there are about three things in there.
Okay. So you have three gifts there for them that they can go right to your
And
website.
not just, yeah, the green, you know, the HTTPS is of course common.
Right.
Even if you don't put it, just thegreenwriter.com. And there's a purple bar on top that says gifts. If you
Okay.
go there, you get my three LinkedIn hacks that might make networking a little easier for everybody. Okay, green, whatever shade of green or no green, it's still going to help you. And of course, 10 simple things to get started if you haven't done that before. And there's five mistakes that green businesses can avoid when they're thinking of launching, you know, just some food for thought there. And there'll be some more that'll soon be added to it. I'm working on them.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, again, it's been so great to have you with me again, Balaka, and the information that you share is beautiful and can make such a big difference for people in their lives if they start integrating some of these tips that you share. So, Um, Thank you for being with me. And this
Uh-huh.
has been the Patricia
I
Joe.
reciprocate. Yeah.
There. This has been the
I reciprocate that feeling. And yeah.
the Patricia Joe Grover Show, where we turn believers into achievers. You can find out more about me at patriciajoegrover.com. And I have gifts for everybody that's listening with us today. I'll put, and it'll show up on the video here. So thank you for being with us. Have a wonderful day.
Yeah, thank you to all who are listening and put your comments. Thank you.